everyone. Welcome to this section on Introduction to Psychology. I am Dr. Olivia Kakati Sharma, and today we shall explore the foundations of psychology. What is it, how it has evolved, and all the major schools of thoughts, perspectives on behavior, methods of psychology, with special focus on experimentation, its branches, and the evolution of psychology in India very briefly so that you can touch up on these topics for your MPhil entrance exams as well as for UGC NET exams. So let us begin. Now let's begin with the important question of what is psychology? So the word psychology comes from the Greek words psyche and logos. Okay? So psyche technically means the soul or the mind, and logos means the study. Okay? So in the literal sense, psychology means the study of the mind or the soul. Okay? So over time, we see that psychology shifted from a philosophy to a science, and today it includes both observable behavior as well as the internal processes of thinking, feeling, and perceiving. Okay, is it clear? So, psychology comes from these two words, psyche and logos, and together that is called the study of the psyche or the study of the mind or the soul. Okay, in today's times, psychology is both a science and a philosophy which focuses on both observable behaviors as well as internal actions or your cognitive processes. Next up, we have the evolution of psychology as a science. So, technically speaking, psychology began in 1879. 1879. This is a very important year for psychology when Wilhelm Wundt established the first psychology lab in Leipzig, okay, Germany. He established the first psychology lab. So what was his aim? His aim was to study consciousness. His aim was to study consciousness scientifically, okay. So from this point onwards, psychology moved through several schools of thought, each contributing to new ways of understanding human behavior. Okay, so we will see the progress of psychology from structuralism to functionalism and from philosophy to experimental science. Okay, now coming to the major schools in psychology, we see that the major schools in psychology include structuralism, functionalism, then we have psychoanalysis, behaviorism, Gestalt psychology, the humanistic school, and finally the approach or the advent of the cognitive revolution. Okay, let us quickly trace the key schools of psychology. Firstly, we have what we call structuralism. Okay, so this school was first proposed by Wilhelm Wundt and was taken forward by his student Titchener. Okay, so Wundt was the main proponent, but it was carried forward by Titchener. So what is this structuralism? It focused on breaking consciousness into basic elements through the process of what we call introspection. Okay, the focus was on consciousness and breaking it down into basic elements through introspection. Okay, then came functionalism, whose main proponent was William James. Okay, so he emphasized the adaptive purpose of behavior and consciousness, while structuralism focused on the structure of consciousness or the structure of the human mind, but structuralism emphasized on the adaptive nature or the adaptive purpose of behavior and consciousness. Okay, Then came along what we call psychoanalysis, which was proposed by whom? Sigmund Freud. Okay. So psychoanalysis and Freud's approach stress the role of the unconscious motives and conflicts. So that was a radical shift from conscious to unconscious. Okay. Before these, we see all the schools focused on having consciousness as a unit of understanding, but Freud made a 360-degree shift and started exploring the unconscious motives and conflicts. Okay. Then comes your behaviorism. Key figures of behaviorism include John B. Watson and B.F. Skinner. Okay. So these are the psychologists who studied only observable behavior. Okay. They rejected the proposition put forth by Wundt and Titchener about introspection being a very important technique to understand your elements of consciousness. Okay. They rejected the idea of introspection and focused only on observable behavior. Next up, we have what we call the Gestalt psychology. Okay. So Gestalt psychology focused on perception, stating that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Okay. So Gestalt philosophy tried to focus only on perception. Okay. And it believed that the holistic picture is always greater than the sum of its individual parts. Okay. That is the whole core idea or core philosophy behind Gestalt psychology. Okay. Next up, we have the humanistic approach to psychology, which was cemented by Rogers and Maslow. Okay. Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow. So this school of psychology, it emphasized on personal growth, self-actualization and free will. Okay. So this took a radical shift from the other sort of approaches, which sort of were reductionist in nature. This approach, or what we call the third force in psychology, the humanism approach or the humanistic psychology put forth by these stalwarts, they emphasized on seeing the human as somebody who's an actively involved participant in his or her, creation of their reality. Okay. It emphasized on the innate nature of humans to move towards or to strive for personal growth, actualization and free will. Okay. Then came the cognitive revolution, where there was a shift from behavior back to mental processes, or what we call the cognition. Okay. So this shifted the entire focus of psychology to processes like memory, thinking and problem solving. And together these schools sort of laid the foundation for the modern perspectives as we know today. Okay. Now, coming to the contemporary perspectives on behavior. So like I said, today's psychology draws from multiple perspectives. It is not just limited to one perspective. Number one is your biological perspective. So as the name itself suggests, it has a biological basis to it. So it links your behavior or your observable actions to the brain, the various neurotransmitters, and most importantly, the genes or genetics. Okay. So it links behavior to genes or genetics and your brain and neurotransmitters. Okay. Next up, we have the behavioral perspective, which focuses on, the key focus is on learning. Okay, learning through conditioning, that is operant conditioning, your classical conditioning, that is learning through associations or consequences. Okay, so the fresh perspective here is behavioral perspective, which links behavior to the learning. And how is that learning occurring? Through conditioning. Okay, third perspective we have is the cognitive perspective, which emphasizes on thinking, memory, and decision making. Thinking, memory, and decision making. So basically, all the cognitive processes. Okay, please excuse my handwriting, it's really coming out to be really bad. So next we have the psychoanalytic or the psychodynamic perspective. Okay, so the psychoanalytic or the psychodynamic perspective, it focuses on your unconscious conflicts plus your early childhood traumas. Early childhood traumas. Okay, so psychoanalysis believes that your early childhood traumas, or how you have spent your early childhood, is directly proportional to your all sorts of conflicts which come up in your later life. Okay, and more so it focuses on the unconscious conflicts or your unconscious childhood experiences. Okay, next up we have the humanistic school or the humanistic perspective. So like I said, it focuses on growth and self actualization. Okay, next we have the socio-cultural perspective. Okay, so this socio-cultural perspective emphasizes on the role of what? Culture, as the name itself suggests, then our social context, our social context, as well as your gender. So basically all kinds of social constructs or cultural constructs come under this contemporary perspective. Next we have the evolutionary perspective. Okay, so the evolutionary perspective is what deals with the adaptive significance of behavior. Okay, and encompassing all these perspectives that we just spoke about comes your biopsychosocial model. So what is this? This is an eclectic approach which unifies your biological, psychological, and social approaches to understanding behavior. Okay, or to understanding one's cognition and behavior. Okay, next we have the methods of psychology or the methods in psychology. So let me tell you, psychology as a science always uses what we call the scientific methods, okay, or the systematic methods to study behavior. Now, what are these types of methods? Number one are your observation. Okay, so understanding a scenario or understanding a situation by observation, be it naturalistic, where you are observing a participant in their natural territory, in their natural habitat, or controlled, where you are observing a participant under very controlled lab like conditions. Both come under observation. Okay, next we have your case studies. So what is case study? It's an in-depth analysis or in-depth study of a particular individual. Okay, when you do a deep in-depth study of studying all domains of a participant's life, that is what we call case study. Okay, next we have surveys. Okay, when we want to do large scale data collection or get a large number of data through questionnaires or through surveys is the way to do it. Okay. Next, we have correlational research. So, correlational research tries to establish the relationship between two or more variables. But mind you, though correlation establishes a relationship between various variables, what it does not give is causality. Okay. So, correlation does not indicate causation. Okay. So, that's where the hallmark of psychology or psychological methods comes in, which we call experimental research or experimentation. Okay. Now, what is this experiment? So, in experiment, what we do, we manipulate an independent variable or what we call the IV to observe its effect on the dependent variable or DV by controlling the all other factors. Okay, those control variables, we always try to control them so that they allow us to understand a very causal kind of relationship, or they give us a very causal conclusion about things. Okay, so let's understand this better with an example. Now, when we are sort of studying, suppose, sleep deprivation, whether sleep deprivation affects memory performance, that is the dependent variable. Okay. Now, coming next on to the branches of psychology. Now, almost like any other stream, psychology is also diversified into various applied and research branches. Okay. Number one is your clinical and counseling psychology, which, as the name itself suggests, deals with the diagnosis and treatment of mental disorders. Okay. Then counseling psychology specifically deals, so clinical psychology deals with the clinical population or those with diagnosed cases of mental disorder. Okay. Whereas counseling psychology deals with everyday adjustment, well-being and guidance to, for the normal population to go through various life's challenges. Okay. Next, we have the branch of psychology called developmental psychology. So, developmental psychology studies nothing but the lifespan growth. The growth across the lifespan comes under the domain of developmental psychology. Okay. Next, we have what we call educational psychology. So, learning and teaching processes come under this. Next, we have the industrial or organizational psychology, which studies the workplace behavior. Okay. Industrial or organizational psychology deals with the workplace behavior. Next, we have the health psychology. Now, what is health psychology? It links between the link between the mind, body and overall health. Okay. So, health psychology tries to bridge the gap between the mind and the body and tries to understand how both of them together contribute to our overall health and well-being. Okay. Next, we have what we call forensic psychology, which deals with law and criminal justice. Okay. Then we have what we call social psychology, which tries to understand the group behavior, attitudes, prejudice, and all that encompasses the societal and social processes. Okay. Finally, another important branch of psychology is cognitive and neuropsychology. Okay. So, higher mental processes and their behavioral links, or what we call the brain behavior links. Okay. Brain behavior links come under the domain of what we call cognitive and neuropsychology. Okay. Now coming to the evolution of psychology in India. Okay. Now, how did psychology evolve in India? Okay. So, if we talk about psychology, psychology in India developed with both, Western influences and the indigenous thought. Okay. The first department of psychology was established in Calcutta University in the year 1916 by who? Girindra Shekhar Bose and Narendranath Sengupta. Okay, G.S. Bose and N.N. Sengupta. Okay, so these were some of the pioneers of psychology in India, and their early focus was on experimental psychology, which later expanded onto various applied areas. Okay, so we see that in Indian psychology. Later on, the indigenous perspective started crawling in or coming in, such as, yoga psychology, Indian philosophical traditions, as well as the concepts like self or the Atman and well being. They also had their all sorts of unique contributions. Okay. So today, psychology in India has expanded across the clinical, counseling, organizational, and community domains, while also sort of increasingly integrating the IKS or the Indian knowledge systems into research and practice. So that is about the evolution of psychology. Now, finally, to conclude, I would like to conclude today's crash course lecture by talking about how psychology is both a science and a profession which is rooted in a very rich history of ideas and experiments. Okay, so understanding its foundations from Wundt to cognitive neuroscience, from structuralism to biopsychosocial models, from Western to Indian perspectives, prepares us not only for MPhil or UGC NET entrances, but also for a very deeper engagement with the human behavior or the human mind and mental health. Okay, so this topic is very, very important for your everyday life as well. So with this, I would like to thank you all for listening to my lecture. I wish you the best in your preparation for your MPhil Clinical Psychology entrance exams at IBHAS and beyond. Thank you.